Erev Shabbat Shalom Rabotai. We are continuing with our Mishna Yomi, Masechet Nedarim. We are up to Perek Vav Mishnah Hey. Today's Mishnayot should be Le'ilui Nishmat Neria ben Svetlana, Ranbai V'Eliyahu ben Burcha Yisraelov and Chana bat Miriam Menuchatam beGan Eden. Amen. And Le'avdu ben Chaim L'Chaim v'Derefua Shenemav Daniel Shalom ben Rosa Betor Shah Cholei Yisrael. This Mishnah discusses Nedarim about milk and milk products. Hanoder min chalav mutar bakum. If someone makes a neder that prohibits him from milk, he is permitted to have whey, which people do not call milk. Whey is the watery liquid that separates from milk when milk is made into cheese. The Rabbi Yossi Oser, however, Rabbi Yossi forbids him to have whey. Now the commentaries explain there is no real disagreement between the Tanna Kama and Rabbi Yossi. Their rulings are based on how people use the words whey and milk in the areas where each one lived. In the Tanna Kama's area, whey was referred to simply as whey and was not included in the word milk. In Rabbi Yossi's area, though, it was called whey of milk. So when a person said milk, he meant whey as well. Minakum mutar bechalav. If someone makes a neder prohibiting himself from whey, he is permitted to have milk because milk is not called whey. This ruling is true according to both the Tanna Kama and Rabbi Yossi. Abba Shaul says, Anoder min agvina, if someone makes a neder that prohibits him from the cheese, asur bah ben melucha ben tfela, he is forbidden to have any cheese, whether salted or unsalted. Although he said the cheese, he did not mean the best type of cheese, which is salted, but all types of cheese, even unsalted ones. And the Rav tells us, V'alacha ke Abba Shaul, the halacha follows the opinion of Abba Shaul. That is then a Mishnah Hey. Mishnah Vav deals with cases in which the flavor of a neder, forbidden food, is imparted to another food. Hanoder min habasar, if someone makes a neder that prohibits him from eating meat, mutar barotev uvakipa, he is permitted to eat liquid gravy and gelled gravy, because although gravy has the flavor of meat, people do not call it meat. Now, kifa is the gravy that gels at the bottom of the pot. The Rabbi Yossi Oser, however, Rabbi Yossi forbids gravy since it has the flavor of meat. I'm sorry, Rabbi Yehuda Oser. However, Rabbi Yehuda forbids gravy since it has the flavor of the meat. According to Rabbi Yehuda, one who makes a neder forbidding meat intends to include not only pieces of meat, but also any food that contains the flavor of meat. And the Rav tells us, Ve'en halachak Rabbi Yehuda, the halakha does not follow the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda, however, cites an incident to support his ruling. Amar Rabbi Yehuda said, Ma'aseh v'asar alei Rabbi Tafon betzim she'nitbashlu imo. It once happened that I was forbidden to eat a piece of meat because of a neder, and Rabbi Tafon forbade me to eat even eggs that had been cooked with the meat. And this shows that a neder directed at meat includes foods that merely have its flavor. The Tanaim who disagree with Rabbi Yehuda respond, Amrulo, they said to him, V'chen hadavar, is it true that Rabbi Tafon forbade eggs that had absorbed the flavor of meat? Ematai. But when does his ruling apply? Right, so they said to him, it's true. It's true that Rabbi Talfon forbade eggs that had absorbed the flavor of meat. But ematai, when does his ruling apply? Bisman shamar basar ze alai. It applies only when one says, this piece of meat is forbidden to me, meaning his neder is limited to a particular piece of meat as opposed to meat in general. Everyone agrees in that case that anything cooked with the specified piece of meat is forbidden. Because the law is that one who makes a neder forbidding himself from a certain item of food, which is then mixed with another type of food, item of food. If there is enough of the forbidden food for it to impart its flavor to the other item becomes forbidden as well. If the neder forbidden food is more than a 60th as large as the permitted food, even the permitted food becomes prohibited because it is assumed to have absorbed the flavor of the forbidden food. This law, however, applies only where the neder singled out a specific item of food. When someone points to a piece of meat and says, this is forbidden to me, he means that he must treat it as something forbidden by the Torah, such as pork. Therefore, just as the flavor of a forbidden food is prohibited, so is the flavor of the piece of meat specified in this neder. So it's unrelated to the matter that we discussed, where the neder referred to meat in general, in which case only actual meat is forbidden, and not food or gravy that was cooked with meat. And that's how they responded to Rabbi Yehuda. And again, we said that halakha does not follow the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. That is Rabotai, today's Mishnah Yomi. Everybody should have an Erev Shabbat Shalom. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen v'amen.